Hello, this is Father Randy Sly with another installment of Day by Day, where each day we take a look at the readings of Holy Scripture found in the daily Mass. And today is the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And because it's a Sunday in the first cycle, cycle A of the Church, of the three cycles, we're back in Matthew's Gospel for our Sunday. And this particular section was not covered in our daily Mass readings, as it was going to be covered in one of the subsequent Sunday Masses toward the end of Ordinary Time. So we're actually visiting this scripture for the first time. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. The Pharisees went off and plotted how they might entrap him in speech. They sent their disciples to him with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are a truthful man, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. And you are not concerned with anyone's opinion, for you do not regard a person's status. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it lawful to pay the census tax to Caesar or not?" Knowing their malice, Jesus said, "Why are you testing me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin that pays the census tax." Then they handed him the Roman coin. He said to them, "Whose image is this, and whose inscription?" They replied, "Caesar's." At that, he said to them, "Then repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know about you, but often when I start a gospel section like this, I feel like I'm kind of coming into the story when it's already fully moving along, and that's kind of what's going on here. This is after the entry, the triumphal entry into Jerusalem. This is Jesus' last week before his passion, death, and resurrection. All of this is leading up to the Passover, where there are people streaming into the city of Jerusalem. Jesus is now there. There's a lot of hubbub. And in the midst of this, he's begun an intense dialogue with the Pharisees and the scholars of the law. And he's trying to get them to, again, at the last moment, understand why he's there and his mission, trying to, again, get them to really embrace what is taking place. And he has just given them that parable of the wedding feast, where because those that were invited refused to come, he says, go out into the highways and byways. And again, this was a strong admonition to the Pharisees that basically they were refusing this wonderful invitation, so God's going to go after other people. So they were taking great offense at what Jesus was saying to them. And it was at this point that the Pharisees joined forces with the Herodians. Now, this is interesting because the Pharisees and the Herodians disliked each other intensely. They hated each other. The Herodians were following Herod the Tetrarch, and they were the ones who were basically following the Jewish government that was put in place by the Romans. Herod was there by the proclamation of the governor, the Roman governor, but he was there to kind of provide symbolic leadership, and there were others. So there were a lot of ways in which they were sympathetic to the Roman government because they wanted to stay in power. And then you had the Pharisees, who were a part of the Sanhedrin, the rulers, the spiritual rulers of the Jews. So they were contenders for the leadership of the Jewish people in so many ways. And they didn't, like I said, they didn't like each other, but here they are working together because they found a common enemy, and that is Jesus. That he was proclaiming a message that was not only detrimental to the Pharisees, but it was detrimental to the Herodians as well. And you may remember that Herod the Tetrarch was castigated by John the Baptist, so he had a real axe to grind with the followers of Jesus as well. So they were working together to try to discredit Jesus. And of course, they came uh, and they began with flattery. And why do you wonder that Jesus said, why are you testing me, you hypocrites? He wasn't just pulling that out of the air. Look how they approached him. Teacher, we know that you are a truthful man and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth, and that you're not concerned with anyone's opinion, for you do not regard a person's status. That's basically false flattery. They were saying things they did not believe. They didn't believe that he was a man sent from God. They didn't believe that he was teaching the way of God. And so they were trying to trap him again. And so this was really a statement that was made kind of in a somewhat of a cynical way, I guess. And Jesus calls them on that. But he's been asked a question. Is it lawful to pay taxes? That's a good question for us today, especially as we go through all of the different things that we are involved in as faithful citizens here in the United States. Is it lawful to pay the census tax? Well, and for the Jewish people, there were two currencies. There was the Roman currency that was used for things that they needed to do out in the city, and then there was the temple money, the currency that was used for things within the temple, and it was a whole different currency and economic system. That's why you had money changers in the temple, is they were changing money from Roman coins to temple coins. So anyway, that's for, again, another story. But Jesus was again differentiating with the Roman coin. He says, whose image is on the coin? And they say, well, obviously, it's Caesar's, and it's his inscription. He says, well, render to Caesar that which is Caesar, and to God that which is God's. And the same principle really holds for us today, that those things which we can freely do as a part of our citizenship, still as followers of God as our supreme leader, we need to offer and render. That's why it is not inappropriate to pay taxes and do things like that. We're rendering what is necessary. And if the government under which we live is calling us to pay a tax, then yes, we pay a tax. One of the things that we've talked about, though, in our current generation is there's another aspect of this that we need to take into consideration. And again, it has to do with in whose image. Whose image is on the human person? In other words, in whose image are we created? We are created in God's image. That's why we are all called children of God, indiscriminate of how we lived our lives. We are all children of God. We are his offspring, and that we bear his image, his likeness, not in the sense of necessarily our goodness, but the fact that the intent of God was to create us as a loving and good act. And so one of the things that comes out of this is the fact that can a government come in then and begin to render an opinion of killing or taking that which was created in God's image, the unborn child? So in many ways, a lot of our pro-life message, and again, whether it is an unborn child or an elderly person or just someone who has difficulties in life, that again, as one born in the image of God, they belong to God. And that's why he says, repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. So today, again, this is a day when we can remember, and again, in October, this is Respect Life Month, and it's a good time for us to reflect on this really amazing little nugget here. Repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. And for us to remember that the life of every human person is created in the image of God, and that each one has the potential of living a good, holy, and wonderful life in relationship with his Creator. Some do and some don't, but all have that potential. So may the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts together be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me on this, the 29th Sunday. And the Lord willing, I look forward to our journey through the 29th week in ordinary time beginning tomorrow. So may Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.